Before we start, there is a story I want to touch on from 2 weeks ago. Do you remember the Jennifer Hale story? She's the one who claimed that she only got paid $1,200 for her voice act for her being the voice actor for Naomi Hunter in Metal Gear Solid.
Oh, what about her?
Um, Guess who was the voice actor for Emma Emmerich in Metal Gear Solid 2?
Say Jennifer, Jenny Woman, whatever her name is.
Yeah, Jennifer Hale.
Okay.
Just think about that. She was so upset that what she got paid for in Metal Gear Solid 1, again, 1200 in 1998 money, that she came back for the sequel. Does that not shoot her credibility to pieces?
Now that you mentioned, there was a Jennifer Wood that displayed in Metal Gear Solid 2 when you played the game. When you
Yeah.
go up against
It,
Senior with Emma.
yeah, she complained. She said she wasn't happy with what she got paid for in Metal Gear Solid, which, to be honest, in 1998 was a shot at the dark because it was basically a brand new IP. No one really remembered Metal Gear or Snake's Revenge on Nintendo. But then she came back and did the voice for Emma Emmerich in Metal Gear Solid 2. If she was so upset with what she got paid, why would she come back for the sequel? Is what I'm saying.
I think I know what happened. Like 3 years after the release of the first Metal Gear, it did so much sales, but we didn't see the long term effect of it until like 10 years later, 20 years later. So 20 years later, she's seen all these sales and proceeds that she could have had with both the first Metal Gear and second Metal Gear. That she feels like she's entitled to it now after all these decades. Hence, 20 years later. So it's like too little, too late on her part.
Yes, if she wanted such a huge cut of the residuals, maybe she should have invested in the development of Metal Gear Solid or Metal Gear Solid 2.
Or she could just be a Metal Gear Solid 3, like with Eva, if ever, or perhaps Metal Gear Solid 4. I'll still play that game whenever I can. I'll try to do a gameplay of that sometime later next month, hopefully during Christmas and such. Other than that,
But
yeah.
but I was watching a Watch Mojo video. I forget what the topic was, but it showed when Wyden. Oh, it was. I remember now. It was like most annoying escort missions in video games.
Mm-hmm.
And when it brought up and it showed when Wyden first meets Emma Emmerich in person, and it said Jennifer Hale. I'm like, wait a minute. She came back for the sequel, even though she was upset with what she got paid for in the original.
But we gotta remember, James, this is like 3 years after the first Metal Gear game that came out of the Metal Gear Solid, of course. So I guess if we try to connect the dots to timing of the sorts, she sees all this good revenue, this good coverage, exposure, the legacy of the Metal Gear Solid games, and so she wants a piece of that pie right now after all these decades. So she waited to the
Yeah,
last moment for the matter, most
yeah.
likely,
She
most likely.
basically Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, I don't think she. To be honest, if she had tried this like 10 years ago, I don't think she would have been successful anyway in getting residuals or stuff. But I mean, she's looking at it like, hey, this game was a success. This game turned into a franchise of its own, and now she wants a bigger piece of the pie.
That's why too. It's like 20 years later. 10 years ago, we had a HD collection for the Xbox
Yeah,
360 and PS3, and as well as Peace Walker, and as well as Portable Ops and the PSP games, Portable Ops and all. So it's kind of like she saw the money that this will come into play 10 years from now, or whatever at the time 10 years ago, if not 20 years ago, especially. You know.
right.
That's
So,
that's her
but
part. That's her part for being ill conceivable with business. It's that's her part. That's her fault.
yeah, I was just surprised when I saw it because I was just surprised when I saw that she had come back, especially after being upset with what she had gotten for the first one. But the first one, in Konami's defense and Hideo Kojima's defense, like I said, no one knew Metal Gear Solid was going to be as big as it was when it first came out on PlayStation. Most people, like I said, they had no idea of the Nintendo games, and to everyone's surprise, Metal Gear Solid turned into this huge um, deal that became its own franchise.
Gotta admit, it was perfect timing too, with all the terrorist attacks and rise of terrorism, the war on terrorism, 9/11 attacks, like all this shit happening. It was the right place, the right time for those games to come out over the last 10-year period from 1987, 80, 89, and then also 1998, 2 years after the Oklahoma City bombings, and then also the World Trade Center attacks in 1993, and all. So it's kind of like, there's one big, built up of hype in a sense. So it helps out back then for its sales. So as a factor, one of the factors involved.
Yeah. So I just wanted to touch on that because I thought that was interesting when I made that realization after we talked about it 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.